Well, hello friends. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sophia and this is my channel, Sophia Sees Beauty, where I review all things beauty and makeup, especially luxury makeup. Today on Sophia Sees Beauty, I just have a chatty, casual, but fun video for you guys. If you haven't watched my channel before, this is not my usual filming setup. I am still home for Christmas in New Jersey with my family, so I'm just doing kind of like a casual, chill little chat with you guys today. I'm not wearing any makeup. I have my little Irish sweater on. I have a cup of coffee. We are waking up together. And today on Sophia Sees Beauty, we are talking about my makeup predictions for 2022. If you guys haven't seen these videos going around YouTube, basically this is a video where we share what do we think is going to happen in the beauty community, in the world of beauty, in the upcoming year. So we'd like to end the year with a couple of predictions. And you know what? It's okay if we're wrong. It's okay if we're wrong, but I think that these videos are super fun because I love to be forward thinking about what kind of trends we're going to be seeing this year. And then next year around this time, I'm going to go back and I'm going to see, did any of these predictions come true? Was I wildly off? Was I right on the mark? So let's get into it. Before we get started, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do a lot of really great videos about new releases, especially in the luxury and high-end realm. So if that is something that is interesting for you, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to hear every time I upload a new video. And if you guys like these style of videos where we just kind of talk about beauty and trends, definitely give me a thumbs up. It helps me know what kind of content you guys like. And it also really helps to support my channel, which is a new channel on YouTube. So every like that you guys give definitely counts. So my first prediction for 2022 is I think that we're going to be seeing a lot more celebrity makeup and beauty brands being launched from not only females, but also from males. We started seeing that with the Machine Gun Kelly launch, with the Harry Styles beauty launch. We're seeing men come out with skincare, come out with nail polish. So I think we're going to continue to see a lot of this. I think that this trend really came out of the rise of Fenty Beauty. I think a lot of celebrities saw Rihanna doing a really great job launching her brand, and they're sort of seeing it as a way to produce additional income. And we already this year started to see a ton of celebrities starting to launch their own brand. So I think that that is just going to continue in 2022. And I think that there's probably a lot of celebrities out there that we wouldn't even really think to launch a beauty brand. Some of these brands, I don't know how they're doing. I'd be really interested to see how they are performing. I think a lot of us in the beauty community, we see certain things launch and we think, wow, that's really random. But the reason that that celebrity is launching their brand is because they probably have a very loyal fan base. So depending on the size of their brand and how many products they're launching, they probably can do pretty well for themselves. I also think that a lot of these brands, because celebrities are seeing other brands pop up from other celebrities, they probably have not been working on their formulations for very long. They probably don't have these brands like in the works for very long. So I think what we're probably going to see is celebrities partnering with other companies like Morphe, for example, or other types of beauty incubators to launch their brands and kind of get that consulting aspect and maybe plug into their existing supply chain. I think that a lot more celebrities are going to be doing that. I think they're going to be doing a lot more collabs. I think it's really interesting. We saw the rise of a lot of influencer collaborations, and now we're starting to see celebrities just come right back into our lives like they always did with sponsorships on TV and all that other sort of older media that we used to have in times past. When celebrities launch their brands, they instantly have a lot of exposure. If they have a very big Instagram presence, if they have a very big fan base, it's super easy for them to kind of get that kickstart to start marketing their brand compared to a lot of other indie brands out there, which rely on, people like you and me making recommendations and spreading the word about their brands. A lot of these celebrities, whether they have the marketing budget or not, they still have the reach. And so that's why I think we're going to continue to see a lot of celebrity brands being launched in 2022. My next makeup prediction, which is kind of similar to what we were just talking about, is I think we're going to continue to see a lot of random collaborations. This year was the year of the most random collaborations. It's almost like every single collection that had to launch was a collaboration launch. Does everybody else feel the same way? If you follow Trend Mood, I'll link that Instagram down below. All of the launches this year, we saw a lot of collaborations. And not all of them were executed very well. I still think we're going to continue to see a lot of them this year, however, because I think that a lot of them started planning this past year, and so they're going to actually launch in this upcoming year. I think it's also important to note that a lot of these brands, they're playing catch up. I think that the pandemic has really hurt a lot of businesses, and so being able to launch collabs not only helps the makeup brand, but it also helps boost revenue for the brand that they are collaborating with. Disney is a good example. Their parks were closed for a pretty long time, at least for them, and they took a huge revenue hit on that. They probably also took a huge revenue hit when sports had to pause. ESPN probably didn't have as much content or as many sponsorships as they did. They probably missed out on a lot of box office sales. You get what I'm saying. Like, Disney was hurting. They're trying to make up for lost revenue, and that's why they're doing all of these collabs. I don't think that they would do this many collabs with this many brands if they weren't trying to make up for lost revenue. So I think a lot of these random brands that are out there, they're just trying to figure out, like, how do we boost our sales? How do we not only sell more products and generate revenue, but how do we get people back interested in our brand in general? If I see a Coca-Cola makeup collab, not only might I purchase the Coca-Cola eyeshadow palette, but I may then say, you know what? I could really go for a Coca-Cola, and then I might go down the street to the 7-Eleven and buy some Coca-Cola. You guys know what I'm saying. And it goes for all of the brands out there. It's about kind of rekindling our love for some of our favorite products and reminding ourselves constantly as we're using this makeup, yeah, I could go for some Sour Patch Kids. This next prediction is kind of in the same vein. A lot of these have similar themes, you'll notice, and that is, I think that 2022 is going to be the year of neutrals. I think we're going to see a lot of neutral palettes this year. We're going to see a lot of neutral collections, and the reason being is similar to my last prediction, which is I think a lot of brands are hurting, and neutral palettes pay the bills. They sell well. I think a lot of brands aren't going to be taking much risks this upcoming year, or if they do take a risk, I think they're going to be balancing a lot of those maybe more colorful and fun collections with something that is the complete opposite, something that is very, very neutral. I just think that brands are being very, very price conscious, and they're trying to figure out how can we make sure that these products do well. It seems like the environment for not just businesses, but everyone in the past year and a half has been very, very unpredictable. And so I think that a lot of brands are trying to hedge their risks. And so with that, they're trying to launch products that they know are going to sell very well. And again, neutrals, they sell very well. And this is sort of wrapped up in the same prediction, but I think that we're going to see a lot more collection extensions. And what I mean by that is I think we're going to see a lot more pillow talk. I think we're going to see a lot more divine rose. I think we're going to see a lot more retro. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more orgasm, this and that. All of these brands, a lot of luxury brands and high-end brands, they have these collections, these color collections that are usually a type of neutral, usually a type of pink or pinky nude. We've seen this with all those collections that I just named, and they're just going to keep releasing new products that are an extension of that shade range. I think that the general public, they know what NARS Orgasm is. They probably know what Pat McGrath Divine Rose is. They definitely know what Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk is. And so I think to sort of hedge their bets and de-risk their upcoming releases, brands are just going to keep releasing more and more products from this same collection color scheme. And we even heard Natasha Denona admit to this when she launched her retro palette, which is kind of a collection of pinks and mauves. She did hint that this wasn't going to be the last of retro. So my prediction is that she's going to be launching a lot more products that are within the Natasha Denona retro color family. I wouldn't be surprised if for the Valentine's Day love collection, she started launching more of like retro products. I think she's going to come out with a retro face palette, face and eye palette, etc. We're seeing a lot of brands, let's say Pat McGrath, for example, and no shame to any of these brands, by the way. I buy all these products. I love these products. These are just my predictions of what they are coming out with. But with Pat McGrath, we've seen the last few palettes that she's launched have been very, very not boring. They've been really beautiful, but they've all been very neutral. They've all been in the same pink tone. We see brands following these trends. We see her launching a lot of things that are arguably very safe. Even her holiday collection, I was really happy to see the Celestial Odyssey Mega palette come out with a lot of very bright, punchy, glittery colors, but they were mixed with a lot of relatively accessible and neutral colors. And I think that that's why it sold very well. My next prediction is I think that a lot of these more luxury brands that are a little bit more on the more creative side are going to be launching products that are a little bit more accessible to the average beauty buyer. Let's take Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath as perfect examples here. I think that a lot of their products originally, when they first launched, were very makeup artist oriented. I remember when Pat McGrath first launched, those first couple of Mothership palettes, they are so creative and inspiring to me. And it's not like they're full of poppy colors or anything like that. But when I open up those palettes, I think, wow, this is just a very artistic curation of shades. I love using those palettes. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when she first launched her brand, she launched these little kits that came with kind of like a dry powder highlighter, a cream eyeshadow, and then some Mehron mixing medium. And you're supposed to take all of them, use the eyeshadow as a base. You're supposed to chip off some of the flaky, dry highlighter eyeshadow and then mix it all with the Mehron mixing medium. And then you could just paint your face gold. Like, that seemed very, very different at the time. It seemed very makeup artisty, very creative. To me, that was super exciting, but we just don't really see these brands coming out with those things anymore. Similarly with Natasha Denona, a lot of people say some of their favorite palettes and some of the best quality that they've seen from Natasha Denona are with those really, really big palettes. I can't remember how many shades are in them, but there's the purple blue palette and then there's the green brown palette. They're huge. They're very, very expensive. I myself don't own them because they're very expensive and I have so much eyeshadow from Natasha Denona, but also a lot of people aren't looking for reviews of those products. And so I think that these brands, they started off launching very, very creative things. And what I think they found is that they just don't sell very well. I think that there is a core group of enthusiasts that are buying those types of products and they are really great, but if they want to grow their business, they need to start launching products that are a little more accessible. So some examples of that are Natasha Denona came out with the Glam Face and Eye palette. This is something that was a very accessible price point to get 5 Natasha Denona shadows, the cream blush, and the highlighter. She's also coming out with a lot of very neutral minis. Minis are a great way for people to be able to sort of have an entry point into the brand. Pat McGrath has also come out with, her holiday collections. They have smaller pan sizes. They have more colors. The Celestial Odyssey Mega palette has a lot of shadows, and I think that it retailed for $75, which is a lot less than the $125 for her regular Mothership palettes. So again, my prediction is that I think these companies that were started by, these very creative makeup artists, they're still going to continue to launch some really fantastic products. But I think that right now they're going to continue to focus on things that are accessible for the more mainstream market, accessible color stories and accessible price points and accessible sizes. I'd love to see something a little bit more creative from these brands, but at the same time, I understand that they're trying to create a range of products for different types of customers to be able to experience their brand and also so that they can make money and grow their business. My next prediction is I think that a lot of these more mainstream luxury brands like maybe Dior, maybe even Pat McGrath in this category, they're going to start or at least maybe continue copying or being inspired by more indie brands. We've already started to see this with a lot of duochromes popping up in a lot of luxury makeup. We even saw this recently in the Tom Ford Lava Luster Quad. I will link my video to that here. I did a review of that palette, and there were two shades in that palette that were duochromes, but they weren't executed very well. We also have seen in some of the Pat McGrath palettes, we've seen some duochromes, we've seen some triochromes. For example, in Divine Rose 2, there's that Sexta Terrestrial, hope I'm saying that right, color in that palette. And then we saw Natasha Denona kind of experiment with this with her triochrome palette. So duochromes, multichromes, triochromes, whatever you want to call them, this is something that has been very much popularized by indie brands, and we start seeing some of these luxury brands kind of dip their toes into those types of products and see, can we execute this well for the same price point? Is this something that our customer is going to like? Don't forget, with luxury makeup, the crowd or the clientele for those types of products does skew a little bit older. So I think they're kind of dipping their toes into maybe more interesting products when they're not launching neutrals. They're trying to launch something that maybe is going to grab the attention of their customer. So I can't say what exactly, but I do think that these brands are going to continue to kind of be inspired by the indie brands, take some of those formulas and take some of maybe those trends that are performing really well in the indie market and kind of sprinkle those throughout their collections and test the waters and see how they perform. This last year, we definitely saw a rise in kind of the early 2000s style of fashion. And I think in this upcoming year, we're definitely going to see that play out in makeup trends as well. This sort of already has started. Again, a lot of these things are just continuations, but I think in 2022, we're going to see even more early 2000s, also known as Y2K trends come out. I think we're going to see a resurgence of sparkly lip gloss and sparkly icy makeup in general, icy lipstick, icy eyeshadows. I think we're going to see a lot more one and done kind of white shimmery eyeshadows. I also think that we're going to see maybe a thinner brow style come out. I know that fluffy brows and thick brows, just bold brows in general, has been really popular for the past couple of years. But if the early 2000s makeup is truly coming back, I think we're going to start seeing a resurgence of the thin brow. And with everything, I think Gen Z is going to pretend like they made all of this up themselves. They're going to think that they started this trend. Skinny brows is going to pop up as like a trend on TikTok, and then everybody who's like in high school and college are going to start doing that, thinking that they started that trend, although we all know full well that we were doing that when we were younger and growing up. But yeah, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of those Y2K trends come back. Frosty makeup, rosy cheeks, very simple one and done makeup, thinner brows. And I think that the younger generation, as is natural, is going to act like this is something new that they invented and that no one has ever seen before. All right, I got one more prediction for you guys. And this last prediction is I think we're going to see an increase in acquisitions this year, specifically acquisitions of smaller beauty brands, and not the kind of indie brands that are selling, individual multi-chromes and things that have a very niche market. I think we're going to start to see a lot of acquisitions of clean beauty brands, natural beauty brands, or things that are very, very accessible to a Gen Z market. I was thinking about this because I saw in the beauty news that Youth to the People, which is kind of like a clean beauty brand that launched at Sephora, they were acquired by L'Oreal. And so I think a lot of these big conglomerates like L'Oreal, like Estee Lauder, Coty, I think they're going to go around and they're really going to clean up shop and be acquiring a lot of these clean beauty brands and these sort of smaller niche brands that have a really good following. A lot of these big conglomerates, instead of just starting their own brands, it's a lot easier for them to just pick up what already exists. And again, because the financial environment right now is a little bit unsteady and unpredictable, I think what these big conglomerates are doing is they're looking to see who has a proven track record, who's really popular right now, who has a lot of buzz, and instead of us investing the money to create our own brand, let's just go out and buy all of the brands. We also have seen this with some of the more like Korean and Asian inspired beauty we saw, I think this was last year if I'm not mistaken, we saw Drunk Elephant get acquired by Shiseido. So these are just some other examples of like, these are brands that started off small. They appeal to a very specific kind of audience. These big makeup companies and makeup conglomerates, they're trying to get on the trends, the clean beauty trends, the clean skincare trends, the natural beauty trends, the Gen Z popularity brands, all those types of things. And so I think we're going to see a lot more acquisitions of those types of companies in the year 2022. So anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Comment down below. Let me know what you think of my predictions. Let me know what your predictions are for 2022. If you think I'm kind of on the right track or I completely missed it. Again, this was just a nice chatty video for you guys. I hope you like this style of video. And if you like this style of video, please don't forget, take a second right now and give me a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe to my channel if you are new here. I would love to have you in my community. I will also link my Instagram down below. We have a lot of fun over there. I post a lot of mini beauty reviews. I post get ready with me's. I tell you things that I'm buying. I tell you about a lot of good sales and deals that are happening out there in the beauty world. So please follow me there on Instagram. I would love to interact with you. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.